When I first read her message, I thought it was a joke. "I need time alone," she wrote, as if those 5 words could casually dismantle 3 years of shared mornings, weekend getaways, and whispered promises made in the dark. For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen, half expecting a follow-up text, something like, "Just kidding," or a heart emoji to soften the blow. But nothing came. Only the gray dots appeared for a moment, then vanished. Silence. Her name was Lauren, and for the better part of our lives, we'd been inseparable. She wasn't just my girlfriend. She was the person I turned to when the world made no sense. I could tell her about the dull ache behind my ribs when work got too much or when life felt hollow. She'd listen, smile faintly, and remind me that I wasn't broken, just human. And now, she wanted time alone. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she was overwhelmed. Maybe something at work had her stressed. Maybe she needed space from everyone, not just me. But the truth has a way of scratching at the back of your mind until it bleeds. That night, I lay in bed replaying the last few weeks, searching for clues. The sudden distance, her late replies, the vague excuses. Just tired. Busy with deadlines. Going to bed early. The signs were all there. I just didn't want to see them. The next morning, I didn't text her back. I didn't call either. If she needed time alone, I'd give her exactly that. But as the hours turned into days, something inside me shifted. Not anger, not sadness, just clarity. I realized I'd been orbiting around her for months, shrinking myself so she could have more space. And she'd taken it, piece by piece, until I barely recognized the man staring back from the mirror. By the 3rd day, I knew what I was going to do. When her next message came, it was short. "I think I just need to clear my head." No apology, no emotion. Just the kind of text you send when your heart's already somewhere else. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. I could have begged, pleaded, asked what went wrong. But instead, I typed something that felt raw and final. "I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll do the same, starting now." I hit send. Then I did something unexpected. I stopped waiting. I muted her chat, deleted our photos from my phone. I went for a run, longer than I'd done in months. I called old friends I'd lost touch with, people I'd slowly drifted away from while building a world that revolved solely around her. I even booked a weekend trip out of town, just for myself. For once, I wasn't reacting to her moods or chasing her silence. I was simply living. 3 days later, she called. I didn't answer. The next day, another call. A text followed. "Are you okay? You're not answering." I smiled when I saw it, not out of spite but realization. She wasn't used to me being quiet. She was used to control, to me always reaching first. A week later, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. I saw her from my window, pacing nervously by the entrance, phone in hand. My chest tightened, but I didn't move. After a few minutes, she texted again. "Can we talk? Please." For the first time in weeks, I felt calm. I let her wait a little longer before replying. "Funny," I wrote. "I thought you needed time alone." Her response came instantly. "I made a mistake, Ryan. Please, can we just talk?" I didn't open the door yet, because the truth is, something had shifted in me. For once, I wasn't chasing love. I was standing still and watching who would come running. When I finally opened the door, she looked smaller somehow, not physically, but in presence. Her usual confidence had evaporated, replaced by nervous energy. She clutched her phone like it was a shield. For a long moment, we just stood there, the silence stretching like a wire pulled too tight. "Ryan," she whispered. "I'm sorry." I didn't respond. I stepped aside, and she walked in slowly, eyes scanning the place as if she was expecting to find someone else there. I could feel her searching for evidence, for reassurance that she hadn't been replaced. "I just needed space," she began. Everything was moving too fast. Work, us, life. I felt like I was drowning. I nodded, not out of agreement, but acknowledgement. I'd heard versions of that speech before, from friends, movies, strangers online. It always came down to the same thing. Someone wanted freedom but didn't want to lose their safety net. She sat down on the couch and looked up at me. When you didn't text, it scared me. I thought maybe you'd moved on. I did, I said quietly. Her lips parted, confusion flickering across her face. What do you mean? I moved on from waiting, I replied. From wondering when I'd be enough. From counting the minutes between your replies. From being the one who tries while you disappear behind excuses. She blinked, as if the words had weight she hadn't expected. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said. I know, I answered. You didn't have to mean it for it to happen. The room went still. The air between us wasn't charged with anger, just a kind of final clarity. For months, I'd been carrying the weight of what we used to be. Now it was hers to hold, and she didn't seem strong enough for it. Ryan, please, she whispered. I was confused. I thought I needed space to figure things out, but when you didn't reach out, when you didn't fight for me, I realized I didn't want to lose you. There it was, the confession, wrapped in guilt and need. The irony struck me harder than I expected. She didn't want to lose me, but she also didn't want to stay in the same way I did. She wanted reassurance without commitment, devotion without effort. I sat across from her, elbows resting on my knees. You didn't lose me because I stopped caring, I said. You lost me because I finally started caring about myself. Her eyes glistened. So that's it? After everything, you're just done. I paused, studying her face. The same face that once felt like home. There was still love somewhere in the background, but it was quieter now, more honest. No, I said softly. I'm not done. I'm just choosing peace over pain. She stared at me for a long moment, then dropped her gaze. I could see the realization settling in, the truth that I wasn't playing a game, that I wasn't waiting for her to decide if I was worth her time. After a while, she stood up. I don't know what to say, she murmured. Then don't, I replied. Sometimes silence says what words can't. She nodded faintly and walked to the door. For a second, I thought she might turn back, say something dramatic or heartfelt, but she didn't. The door closed gently behind her, and with that sound, something in me finally let go. That night, I went out for a walk. The city lights felt softer somehow, the air lighter. I wasn't angry. I wasn't heartbroken. I was just free. When I got home, my phone buzzed. One new message. From her. I hope you find someone who never makes you feel like you're hard to love. I read it twice, then deleted it. Not out of cruelty, but because I already had. I had found that someone in the quiet strength of my own reflection, in the version of myself that had waited long enough and finally decided to walk forward. And in that silence, somewhere between the past and what came next, I smiled. Because for once, she was right about something. I had found love again, just not in her.